Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I am talking to you about the rarity of reason from the Swedish based After Earth. And on this debut full length, After Earth plays honestly a very classic sounding melodic death metal that wouldn't sound too out of place if you said it came from that famous Gothenburg scene. And being a Swedish band, it makes total sense that they are drawing from such a legacy. And yes, while After Earth is definitely honing in on a certain level of melodicism and traditional metal structures, there is still much muscle and brutality here to be found. That's not washed away by any means. But also, just good hooks, great songwriting, really cool solos, fantastic licks, just a lot here that you're going to want to replay. On the opening title track, things begin with this rather ornate, swelling synth passage. Definitely provides this very theatrical backdrop without ever feeling overproduced or syrupy, and it seamlessly rolls on these very slick, gain-heavy death metal licks. The vocals definitely lean into that more higher, mellow death screech that you would expect from a record like this. Brutal, but definitely packed with a lot of emotion behind it. The riffing has plenty of this meaty chug, but also has substantial melody and hooks laced into the track's framework, and it all just works so well. And with that, there are also a lot of these more slowed down, groove-oriented passages that almost often sit right side by some of the choruses for a nice dynamic contrast. Prometheus has this epic battle-ready gallop to it. The riffs skip forward, the licks interject so much energy, and the vocals just exist with this aggressive howl delivered with such a vigor. There are some of these more open, very ghostly sections, and even an acoustic bridge that adds to that haunting nature that After Earth is able to tap into here. Through Hidden Spaces shows this thrashier side of the band. Thick, speedy, aggressive riffs, these brutal chugs that hold up these growls that are coming from a real pissed off place in the gut. The drums seem to smash forward with this vengeance, just overall physicality to the track, though everything feels like it's snarling at you. They are really demonstrating that, yes, while melody is a big part of this band's identity and what it does, it's not their only trick. And in fact, even on this track, on the bridge, there's a lot of this dissonant, screeching feedback, actually kind of like anti-melodic death metal for a moment. Legions features these seesawing licks that seem to spindle off with the phrasing of the vocals in a very cool, memorable way. There is this witchy, ritualistic atmosphere to this track, but it still makes room for these absolutely bludgeoning, rolling riffs and blast beats. I just love how After Earth is able to play with a lot of different contrasting textures and varying moments of heaviness. The solo here, all of the solos on this album being handled by Christopher Nilsson, seems to literally yell at you. I mean, you could feel it kind of screaming right into your ear. It rules. However, Human Slave Machine seems to run straight into a gnarly death thrash territory, just a nastiness and a pure friggin' heaviness in the riffs, while also I really like how the drums are recorded here, especially the snare sound. It's kind of dirty, but also has a nice audible pop, just sounds really lively here. And just a side note, this is a band that I found worth digging into the lyrics for, especially on this track, Human Slave Machine. If you have time, just kind of dig into the verses. I really enjoyed reading what this band is penning down. Undermine My Suffocation is the most melodic and triumphant track on the record, and the licks have a real traditional melodic metal feel, even a power metal feel to them. They wouldn't seem to be too out of place on, say, a Nightfall in Middle Earth, and honestly, it's just really sick. The vocals on the main hook here are very infectious. I just want to raise my fist and growl along. You claim to be a friend, but in the end, empty words, no correlation. On Anguish to Dust, these melancholic sweeps of melody work really well in tandem with this thick, murky low end. Just a really cool blending of different textures and tones that just sounds really good here. On I Am What Remains, the closing track, once again the band throws in this interlude, this very spacey symphonic part that like they kind of did in the beginning, and if the band overdid this or used them incorrectly, it could have killed the record for me. But it doesn't. They use it with a considerable amount of restraint in the perfect amount that how it's used does a good job of actually creating this suspense and this mood that I really dig quite a bit. Meanwhile, the drumming on this concluding track is just let off the leash. Pulverizing stuff paired with these very violent downstrummed chords. It's monstrous stuff. Melodic death metal does not mean death metal sans brutality, as very much demonstrated right here. And with these strings and the incessant drums, there's this feeling of building intensity that is carrying the track along, but that's until it seems to kind of cut out, and then we get this weeping, mournful solo. It's phenomenally moving and just a fantastic way to end this on such a high note. Slow clap. The Rarity of Reason by After Earth is simply a tightly packed, well-written mellow death record with great hooks, exciting leads, and yes, plenty of punchy melody. Still, it does not sacrifice any force or aggression. This record leaves plenty of room for that. Obviously, if you are a fan of those classic In Flames or At the Gates records, there's definitely something in this record for you. But even if you haven't really dived into the world of melodic death metal, I still think this can grab onto you and worth checking out still. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. And hey, that's my review. Those are my thoughts. If you like what I do, tell me. Hit the like button. It'd mean the world to me if you consider subscribing. We are almost to that 666. I'm planning something special for that, so tell your friends. Subscribe. We'll get there sooner. Leave a comment. I love getting to engage with those. I have a Twitter you can follow. Link to that is in the bio of this YouTube channel. No pressure to support the channel this way, but I have opened up a Patreon where once I start getting support there, I'm going to start giving exclusive content. No pressure, obviously, but that is a way for me to try to keep this sustainable. So there you go. And hey, you right there, keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beaver Mosh, and I'm signing off.